In this video podcast, I wanted to make a plea for not exempting state contracts or grants from oversight laws. As a general rule in California, the awarding of contracts or grants are subject to state laws, including those in the Public Contract Code, the State Contracting Manual, as well as specified provisions of the California Government Code, such as the personal services contracting requirements. In addition, many state contracts are subject to approval by DGS, the Department of General Services. And the purpose of these statutes, as you can imagine, is to ensure public transparency, competition for public contracting opportunities, standards for the award of contracts, and a myriad of other reasons. For example, in the beginning of California's Public Contract Code, there's Division 1 called Purpose and Preliminary Matters. And Division 1 was added to the Public Contract Code in 1984. And it has a couple of important provisions of note. Section 100, Section 100 lists 4 legislative findings and declarations that placing all public contract law in one code will make that law clearer and easier for interested parties to find. It's also the intent of the legislature in enacting the Public Contract Code to achieve 4 objectives. A, to clarify the law with respect to competitive bidding requirements. B, to ensure full compliance with competitive bidding statutes as a means of protecting the public from misuse of public funds. C, to provide all qualified bidders with a fair opportunity to enter the bidding process, thereby stimulating competition in a manner that's conducive to sound fiscal practices. And D, to eliminate favoritism, fraud, and corruption in the award of public contracts. Section 101 also provides that California public contract law should be efficient and be the product of the best of modern practices and research. And then Section 102 states that to encourage competition for public contracts and to aid public officials in the efficient administration of public contracting in the state to the maximum extent possible for similar work that's performed for similar agencies, California's public contract law should be uniform throughout the state. Now, the state contracting manual, it actually has 4 large volumes. It's published and available on the internet from the Department of General Services, DGS. And here the manual stated purpose is that state agencies can access policies, procedures, and guidelines for non-IT services contracts. Volume 1, again, of the 4 volumes of the state contracting manual, is provided as a resource to those in California state government who are involved in the state's contracting process. It provides the policies, procedures, and guidelines to promote sound business decisions and practices in securing unnecessary services for the state. Now, California's government code allows personal services contracts under Title II, Division 5, Part 2, Chapter 5, Article 4. Wow, that's a lot. Article 4 establishes standards for the use of personal services contracts, and they're permitted in order to achieve cost savings to the state if certain specified conditions are met. Now, I give you this lead in because from time to time, I've seen legislation in the California legislature that includes 1 or more exemptions from these laws. So here's a recent one. Notwithstanding any other law, contracts or grants awarded to blank shall be exempt from both of the following: the personal services contracting requirements of Article 4 of the Government Code, as well as the Public Contract Code and the State Contracting Manual. Notwithstanding any other law, contracts or grants awarded to blank pursuant to this chapter shall not be subject to the approval of the Department of General Services. Unfortunately, I view it just like the exemptions for executive branch state agencies needing to comply with the Administrative Procedure Act when they are conducting rulemaking or adopting regulatory actions. And similarly to the APA exemptions, the practical impact of these exemptions from things like the Public Contract Code, the State Contracting Manual, approval by DGS, limits transparency and public participation in the public contracting law. And it's problematic for the same sorts of reasons. These laws are intended to protect the public fisc, the public monies, and ensure that state contracts with non-state entities, the private sector, meet certain standards so that best practices are followed. The state is buying the best goods and services at the best value. These laws also help encourage participation in public contracting, which benefits the taxpayers who expect to receive the purchase of the best goods and services at the lowest possible price.